Hey guys, this is Savannah from earthandwater.co, and today I want to talk about Ostara, which is the first day of spring. It's basically Easter, but like a month before Easter, and without all the Christianity stuff attached to it. But there you go. That's the podcast. Du-du-du. I'm kidding. Anyway, so Ostara is the celebration of the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, but since everything's switched in the southern hemisphere, it's the fall equinox down there. There are two equinoxes a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. They equinox is exactly kind of what it sounds like, equal, so it's when the day and the night are both of equal length. Mabon being Ostara's counterpart. So the fun thing about Ostara is that it falls on the astrological new year as well. So now we're moving into Aries season, which is the first zodiac sign in astrology. So it's kind of like a new year, and which goes perfectly with the Ostara aspects because it's spring. Things are coming out of the winter, sprouting, turning green finally, rebirth anew. And Aries is a cardinal sign, it's also a fire sign, which is going to give us a lot of energy to put forth new goals and ambition. So, January 1st, when we all were setting our New Year's resolutions and whatnot, that was just a practice run. It didn't really count. So, if you've already fallen off, don't worry about it. We're got a new start right now. And I always encourage you to really sit with your goals and think about them in depth all the way to the bottom. Like dissect those things as far as you can dissect them. We almost never actually want what we think we want when it comes to our goals. For example, you don't actually want to lose weight. You want to feel comfortable in your body. You don't actually want to make more money. You just want to feel stable and secure and free and have that freedom to move around that you think money is going to give you. Ends goals and means goals. Okay, do we need to talk about that? We might need to talk about that, but not in this podcast episode because, yeah, focus. So the history of Ostara is debated amongst scholars. Some people can trace it back to ancient times or whatever. Other people say that it's a newfound thing. I mean, who cares? Honestly, it's the equinox, and the equinox in and of itself has been celebrated by our ancestors back when, we were syncing our bodies and our lives to the natural world like we're supposed to do. If you get into the lore and whatnot, there's like a horned god or something, which is funny because, Aries is the ram, but I don't really get into stuff like that, like the goddesses and the gods or whatever. Some people like that stuff and it can be fun, but it's honestly just recreations of the aspects in story form, just like anything else when you get into historical mythology and whatnot. Anyway, so the Ostara aspects are exactly what you would expect them to be for Easter. Bright colors, pastels, eggs, and rabbits, which are fertility signs. It took me forever because, I grew up in Church of Christ, so heavily Christianity, and I was always very confused at why Easter was supposedly about, Jesus coming back, but then we got rabbits and eggs, and that did not make any sense to me. I was so confused, and it wasn't until I discovered these things like the Wheel of the Year and Ostara and all of this that things started making a little bit more sense because way back in the day, Christianity did just kind of take all of the pagan holidays and rework them just a little bit to their own. Anyway, so yeah, eggs and rabbits, what? But it's fertility, okay? Fertility and new life. And we all know why rabbits are associated with fertility. Uh, seeds, flowers. Now is the time to plant your garden if that's what you're if you do gardening and whatnot, which I highly recommend, which everybody highly recommends, but I know that's easier said than done for a lot of people, especially those in like city aspects, places. But if you can't plant a garden, there are still lots of ways that you can celebrate Ostara. And I really, really, really want you to take these aspects in all of the Wheel of the Year holidays, okay? In all of them, and really sit with them, meditate with them. If you're not sure what that means exactly, just read over the aspects. In this case, seeds, flowers, dawn, rebirth, bright colors, pastels, fertility, eggs, rabbits, whatever. And just sit with it and see what images come to mind for you specifically. What feelings do you get? What are you being pulled towards? There's no wrong way to do it. You have to really engage the magic of these things, of these holidays. Then you really want to look into yourself and see what you can find and what's coming up for you. I'm here to facilitate your personal practice, but that's all that is facilitating, okay? And I want you to take that so to heart because I can't tell you how to live your life, and I don't want to. I want you to figure out what best suits you and what makes you feel vibrant and bright colors of pastels. Because that's what's going to take you out of the depression of winter, honestly, and find the spark of life to, rebirth, dawn, it's over, the darkness has ended, we're here, we made it to spring, go us. So for sure, be creative, make it your own. Always, always, always. I'm always going to say that. I'm always going to try to drill that into your head. Don't take what we say, and I say we as in me and other people online and whatnot, for face value. What it means to us may be slightly different to what it means to you, but the magic is within us personally. So, moving on. All of that being said, there's a lot of things that we can do that are, just like in Easter, we dye eggs, Easter eggs, and that's a tradition of Easter. It's also a tradition of Ostara. You can make eggshell dust, which is one of my favorite things to do year round. Eggshells have the connotations of purity and, oh, not safety. What's the word? Protection. Okay, protection. I guess because the eggshell protects the chicken, and I don't know. Anyway, I save my eggshells year round, not only because they're really awesome in composting and fertilizer, and I do a lot of gardening, but because of the protection aspect. So every now and then, if I have a lot of eggshells dust, because you take it and you put the eggshells after they're dried, you put them in your meddler, meddler, mortar and pestle, and then you crush it all up. Which, if you don't have a mortar and pestle, that's fine. You crush it however you want to crush it. It's don't get stuck on technicalities, y'all. But it's fun to have one just because of the aesthetics. But anyway, you take that and you crush them all up, which is really fun to do, and the kids love to do it. It's very aesthetic. It's very pleasing, the texture to crush the eggshells. But anyway, then I take them outside and dust them around the house, like outside in the yard. Just make a circle around the whole perimeter for with the intention of protection and good health and stuff. So like protection in all areas, protection from not only negative whatevers that want to come towards us, but also like health wise and I don't know, whatever you need protection in. Can make an altar, which I still haven't gotten around to do a altar podcast episode for you guys. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. It's on the list. We'll get there. But an altar is you can put Easter stuff or Ostara stuff. It's really all the same. It just depends on your spiritual and religious background and how you choose to represent that in your life moving forward. But anyway, In a nutshell, altars just kind of help us keep the energy at hand. So, you celebrate one day, but it's not really about one day, is it? It's about this phase of the year, this year in our life or whatever. So, if you make an altar, it kind of extends the energy because every time you walk by it, you're like, oh, yeah, bright, pastel, eggs, birth, fertility. Which, from someone who is done having children, that sounds terrible. But it really is a beautiful thing and basic foundational block for all of society and life. So, anyway, I always have to highly recommend a feast with friends. Always. Let me tell you what, we vastly underestimate the power of a feast with friends. And I really think that that is one of the things that we could reestablish in society and culture that would help a lot of us in a lot of our problems that we're having. Because, I mean, well, we could get on a tangent on this forever too, but we're all lonely, but we're also all isolated and terrified to interact with one another. So if we can have a feast with friends and, usually mead or something of the sort to kind of relax things is also involved in that. And I think that would really, really save a lot of mental health struggles that a lot of us are going through. And when I say a lot of us, like I know like two people who don't have mental health problems, and you know what? It's because of the society and culture we've created. But anyway, tangent again, moving on. Traditional Ostara foods for your feast are going to be whatever is seasonal in your area. So, or probably carrots. Surprise, surprise. Herbs, edible flowers, which I'm super interested in and will be studying more about because there are so many things, so many plants and flowers and whatever, whatever that are edible that we don't consider edible. And like, why not? More variety in food? Anyway, obviously, anything egg related is going to be food appropriate for your Ostara feast. Hot cross buns. Let me tell you what, hot cross buns. We made these a couple of years ago for, I don't know, maybe Ostara. From my research, I believe hot cross buns are a staple in most celebrations when it comes to the Wheel of the Year. And let me tell you, they are delicious. There is a reason that they made a song about it and made us all in elementary school learn how to play the song. They are good. They are good. Highly recommend. Crystals associated with Ostara seem to be a little questionable. I don't think there's actually a ancient text that says these crystals go with this um, holiday or anything. It's mostly just from people like me who have kind of studied the aspects themselves and crystals on top of that. So there's kind of like pair things where they see fit. So that being said, of course, grain of salt, whatever. But aquamarine and rose quartz felt pretty on point for me just because of the, I don't know, they just did. And then tiger's eye, moonstone were pretty universal. And we'll talk more about crystals moving forward. I have a lot of blog posts about crystals. Not so much podcast episodes yet because, the podcast is fairly new, whereas the blogging has been going on for years. So I do have more content over there that you can read. But when using crystals, you can use them on your altar, you can put them in your pocket. They just kind of help focus and amplify your intentions and your goals and your thoughts and all of that so that you can move more towards what you're wanting to create. Which brings us back to the mental work, which is what I always focus on: the journaling exercises, the meditation, the affirmations, all of that. I do have some journaling exercises, which can also be taken as meditation exercises on the accompanying blog post that I will link somewhere close by. I'm not going to make you look too hard for it. Um, there's some affirmations on there. I list a lot of affirmations on things, but I also want you to remember that they're just examples. Everything that I give is just examples. Okay, think about it on your own and listen to your heart and see what is coming up for you, what you need to work on. Okay, again, I'm here to facilitate. But anyway, that's about all I have right now. Yeah, that's all I got. It's pretty simple. It's pretty fun. I don't know. If you have anything, any questions, please let me know. If you have recipes, healthy recipes that encompass the foods that are in season right now, I would love, love, love to see them. Share them with us in the Facebook group. We have a Facebook group, so we would love to talk about food in there. We really like food and herbs and plants and crystals and magic and things like that. So if that's your job, is that your vibe? Come hang out with us. As is, you don't have to get dressed up or anything. Haha. So yeah, I'll talk to you later.